That was Finding Peace. Josh Zimmerman wrote that song after losing his brother to suicide. He is here today along with Christy, CEO of Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan, Be Nice, to continue our conversation on suicide awareness. Thank you both for being here with us. That song's so beautiful. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first, Josh, just tell us about your brother, Justin.
Well, Justin was a couple years younger than me, and pretty much anything he touched turned to gold. He graduated with over a 4.0 GPA in high school. He was a two-time state runner-up in wrestling, and went to college on scholarship, and expectations were through the roof from there. And at some point, we noticed that something was changing with him. He wasn't the smiley, full of life person that he used to be, and about 11 years ago, he took his own life.
Mm-hmm. So you noticed he was struggling inside, or struggling, but then would you say he kept a lot of his pain inside still?
Yeah, I think he was really withdrawn. There were certain things that just weren't him that we started to notice. And I know Be Nice has the acronym, and we all did the N part of the acronym, the notice, but we didn't understand or know how to invite and to challenge, to empower, and go through the rest of that acronym.
Mm-hmm. You know, Christy, even today, especially for men, right, they have a hard time opening up, right? They're the man, they want to be strong. How do we as family, friends, get them to open up to us?
Well, we love teaching. I mean, that's our big pleasure for us at the Mental Health Foundation, is to get out and spread that action plan and teach people, how do you invite yourself into that conversation? And often it's just starting with, hey, lately I've noticed that. And bring it up. You've been withdrawn. You're quiet. You haven't been coming to the dinner table. You don't text me back. You don't call me back. You've been drinking more often lately. You're smoking again. Anything that you're seeing that's not typical of that person, jump in and invite yourself into a conversation. And oftentimes guys, you know, they've got a way of joking around, you know, hey, you're fine, you're okay, you know, thinking that pat on the back, that let's go out and have a beer is exactly what they need. But that big step is opening that conversation up. And then we were chit-chatting about this, but making sure that people need and get that resource. And that's where to get help. And it may not be from me right then. They may not even tell me that they're thinking about suicide. They might say, I'm okay, I don't want to get any help. Hey, you know what though, I'm gonna give you this resource. And we go over it every week, Amber, with 988 or 741-741. So, you know, and men, yes, they do have a higher suicide rate than women. Women have more episodes of attempting, and they struggle more with depression. But guys go unnoticed and uninvited.
Josh, tell us about this song here. More than 10 years after your brother's death, Finding Peace. How did you find peace?
Well, I first started writing the song and wanted to capture the moment right after he passed, and capture the grief behind his passing. And that was the first maybe 30 seconds to a minute of the song, was trying to capture that grief, and I hit a wall and couldn't write any more of the music. I went to other songs that I eventually put on the album, and I wrote about a lot of the goodness that has come since then, about family, about my children, about my wife, and there was so much joy in those songs. I finally returned to that first song that I started writing, Finding Peace, and it takes this turn about a minute into the song where you hear there's hope and there's joy and the goodness that, and still there's so much pain around that, but at the same time, you asked where do I find peace, and I ultimately find peace in Christ and in my relationship, and knowing that God has a perfect plan that's bigger than mine, past, present, future. And I encourage those who do listen to this song that I hope that they can find peace through the music and get that sense as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is a beautiful song, right? And
Absolutely.
these conversations are so important to have. We need more. We need more and more of them.
They are.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And if you've noticed changes in your mental health or in someone you care about, don't wait. Take action. You can go to benice.org for more information.